Making connection. Oh, let me get on. Let me do my job.
Good evening, guys. Surprise, surprise. And I brought my friend with me. How you guys doing? I'm calling these Seasoned and Snatched Sundays, right? Where we have these conversations. We have these conversations about being seasoned and snatched. Uh-oh. My director is helping me here. That's hubby. So we are doing Seasoned and Snatched, guys, sessions. And I am bringing on my friend and neighbor, Kiera, the owner of, tell me the owner of your business.
Lush House Studio.
Lush House Studios. And what do?
I do brows and lashes.
A very luxurious
experience.
But tell me, what type of brows? Tell me, what is it exactly?
So the brows that we specialize in is powder brows. So essentially they're just like tattoo brows. And they form, people have experience with like microblading. I feel like microblading is probably a little bit older than powder brows. Powder brows is a much more softer, much more natural, less invasive look. And so that's what we do. They don't look like tattoo brows. That's the number one question I get all the time. Okay. They don't look like it.
And if you notice, the accent was accent to, people down here, down south. She's from Chicago. I'm from Detroit.
Yes.
So, it's basically like we're cousins. We're city cousins. But this season, this snatch, you've been seeing me talk about being seasoned and snatched. You've been seeing me share my journey with weight loss and just kind of like this whole new season of rediscovery. And so I've decided to do these Sunday sessions where we bring like amazing people on that are doing amazing things in their businesses and their lives, but they're also in a very transitional season as well. And we were brought together. Literally, we're actually neighbors, live in the same subdivision, but we were brought together, kind of through this whole cortisol cocktail, whole little phenomena that I've been talking about. You guys have been seeing me share. Now, I'm gonna be transparent with you all. That camera is all the way right there, and I have on readers. So let's see what you all are saying. Hello. Oh, I got some family on here. Hey, guys. Okay, so I wanted to just like really start talking from the standpoint of you sharing your journey. Because first of all, I know that for you, being a CEO, being a founder, first of all, that's enough in and of itself, right? Being a founder, being a mom of two. She has two littles. What are their ages?
I got a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old.
A 12-year-old and 7-year-old. You've been married for how long?
We've been, don't put me on blast.
A little bit. She been married for a little while.
17 years this month.
17 years.
This month.
And so, doing all of that, and then balancing just normally the rhythm of life, having to navigate life and having to navigate the different seasons of life. A lot of times I think that we put things on our back and we especially being from Detroit and Chicago, we put those things on our back and we just carry heavy loads. And I know for me, I had gotten to a point where I was probably at one of the highest times of my life with my film. And suddenly the activity that I did and I was known for, which is like producing and directing and editing, I started getting this crazy brain fog and crazy crashing. Like 1 p.m. I could take caffeine in the morning, then at 1 p.m. I'd take it again and I would crash. Like I could just, and I was really getting frustrated with that and I was looking for a solution. So it's kind of crazy because like you work so hard to excel in life, but at the same time, your body is changing, is shifting, and you have to support this in order to be able to do the things that you're called to do.
Yeah. And
so I know that was something that stuck out to you too. So tell me a little bit. First off, I don't know if you all saw her picture, but if you have not seen her picture, if you get a chance, you go back on my page, Let me see if I can pull that picture up. I wonder, can I pull the picture up? You have to go on my doggone page and actually look at her picture, her before and after picture.
Here it is.
Because it's going to blow your mind. See if they can, see if you can see that. Yeah. Can you guys see her before and after picture? First of all, can you all see her? I mean, can you see her? Show them too. Can you see her? Can you all see that loveliness? Oh my God. I mean, like, doesn't she look amazing? How much did you lose? How much have you lost in total?
Oh, I've lost, I would say about 210 pounds total.
210 pounds in total. This has been over a period of time. And when we met her, we met you, and you're about, how far are you from your goal?
Yeah, I am 10 pounds from my goal. And that's because I moved the goal. If we didn't move the goal, I'm at goal. But I'm 10 pounds from my new goal. The goal keeps shifting. So, but yes, 10 pounds, which feels unreal. There's a little body dysmorphia there happening as well, just because you live your life in a certain body. And then when you get to your goal, I don't think the mind catches up with where you are physically. So that can be a challenge, but yeah. So each day is a reminder.
Yeah, I would tell Curtis, like, sometimes, like, so if I was in one mirror upstairs and then I go down into the gym and I look at him and I'm like, are those my thighs? Seriously, like, are those my thighs? Like, is that my waist? Because it is. It's kind of like when you carry weight for a while, even when you lose it, sometimes you can still feel that heaviness. It literally is something. So tell me about your weight journey, like your life. Like, tell me like your...
Yeah, so I would say that I was at my heaviest. I was 396 pounds, and honestly, it didn't feel like it. I was living life. I had, had my daughter and gained so much weight throughout the pregnancy, and then after I had her, I was a little surprised by the delivery process. I expected, like everybody else, to just like walk into the hospital and have this smooth delivery, give birth to my child naturally, and then leave the hospital with my baby. But essentially, I ended up having like an emergency C-section. Her heart rate dropped. It was really traumatic. And I think I was kind of torn of the fact that I felt like, the one thing that I was put on earth to do by God, which is to give birth to my child, I couldn't do that. So that kind of impacted me emotionally. And I feel like I'm an emotional eater. And so that caused me to gain weight. And I remember initially after I had her, I gained like 70 pounds, like within probably 6 months. And it just kept growing after that. And I just couldn't get a hold of it. So I was just like drowning in it. And my husband was supportive. He never ever brought up my weight. He never, so it wasn't like I had somebody that's like, hey, come run a mile with me. He just loved me through it. So that caused me to have all different types of health issues and medical conditions I had developed. I was pre-diabetic. I was very close to being put on blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure was high consistently. I developed sleep apnea. I mean, all the things. I had joint pains, knee pains, back pains. I had plantar, fasciitis, or I can never say it, but I had that. The arch of my foot was dropping under the weight that I was carrying. I mean, everything was against me, and I was like 28. Very young, very, very too young to be carrying that weight on my heart. So because of that, I started getting these really bad headaches to the point where I couldn't even drive. Like if I was driving, I had to pull over and go get myself to the emergency room or call somebody to come get me. I went to the emergency room and the doctor, let me know that she came in, and also not a super small girl. Like she was like, a nice sized woman, which I think was helpful because it helped me, receive the information. Right. And so the doctor basically said to me, she was like, your blood pressure is ridiculous. She was like, if you don't do something and do something fast, you're going to not live to see your daughter turn 5. She was 3 at the time. And so she's like, you're too young and you're too beautiful to be carrying this amount of weight. Your heart is no longer able to sustain the weight that has been put on it. And I mean, I cried, I bawled in her office. I've never done that before. I've never, outside of emergency C-section trauma, I've never bawled in a doctor's office before. But it just hit me, her words, and I felt them. They made sense. And so she handed me some paperwork for bariatric surgery. She was like, hey, look into this because you need something drastic and you need it fast. And so that was something that I took into consideration. I went home, talked to my husband about it. He was actually against it. He was like, no, I think you can do this naturally. You don't need anything. But there comes a point in time where you need intervention. And I think we as prideful people lean on, oh no, I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep and I'm going to work out in the morning. But as you age and all the things happen in your life that kind of gives you these, obstacles, you kind of need help to support yourself through that. So I did that in 2018 and I lost about 100 pounds, like 75 to 100 pounds. But then I got pregnant with my son. Okay. One of my greatest gifts, he just was a pleasant surprise. And so I had pretty much capped at that. And I really wanted to continue to lose weight. I clearly needed well more than 200 pounds to lose. So I just, kept going. After I had my son, I worked out through the entire pregnancy. I ate well through the entire pregnancy, low carb. I did like a low carb, high protein diet. And so I was losing weight consistently throughout my pregnancy. I was smaller when I had him than I was before I got pregnant. So that helped me just change my lifestyle. And so, as I've gotten older, I've learned how to maximize what I can do with my body in order to get it to do what it needs to do. However, when you get to a certain age, as you approach 40, get over 40, you're having hot flashes and your metabolism is slowing down even more. And the things that you're doing aren't working anymore. Like the low carb, high protein isn't working. I can't protein shake myself any more than I've already done it. Right. So at this point, I'm not eating food. I'm just eating protein shakes. I need something else to kind of help balance out my body. And so those are the things that I've been working on. So found Brandi, we found each other. Again, we're literal neighbors and friends. And so Brandi I was just talking about hormone therapy just because my emotions were all over the place. I was leaving church happy, but by the time I got in the car, just plummeting emotionally, like unsure about what's happening with myself, having night sweats and never had that before, and just exhausted all the time. So Brandi definitely kind of pulled me to the side when I was talking about hormone therapy. And she's like, you may want to, before you get a pellet, and start to rely on an external source to be put inside of your body in that capacity, try this. So she just kind of slid me her cortisol cocktail, and I've been hooked ever since.
And the thing about it was, and the reason why is because I had been looking for things. I was looking for all the things, and I was just like, I remember reading that and saying, I don't necessarily want to, go that route. Let me keep looking. And I think it's like, I remember going on ChatGPT and getting a whole list. It gave me a whole list, all of the different supplements. So I probably had at any given time, 10 different supplements to take at different periods of time, right? I never knew what was doing what, right? And then even if it was giving me one thing, I still was lacking in maybe the energy. So it was really hit or miss. And then I attempted last August to try another a product line, and they would say okay, well, you got to give it a period of time, you got to give it 30 days, or you got to give it 60 days, you got to give it 90 days. I'm like, these hot flashes and everything that's going on, and this appetite is not going to wait that long. I need something that's going to actually work right now. And so for me, that cortisol cocktail, the fact that you could take it and within 15 minutes you could feel it was everything to me, because I needed something that I knew was going to work, and it was going to work right now, and had multiple benefits to it. So tell me a little bit about, for you, because I remember when we first started with you, it was your birthday, and you were like, I'm trying to get down these last couple of pounds. And tell me about the workout that you were doing on your own, and then how it shifted when you started working with Curse. Just that whole little time period.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was working out on my own. I have a gym membership. I probably need to cancel it. But I have a gym membership, and I was using the Ladder app, which I don't hate. Like it was helpful. You know, there's guided workouts that you kind of work out through on your own. But I had said to Curtis, like, what I noticed is that I cannot feel my RDL in my glutes. Like I can feel it in my thigh, my hamstring, everything. I just can't feel it in my glutes. No matter how many reels I watch, no matter how many TikToks I watch of like how to feel it in your glutes, I just wasn't feeling it. And so, and I said, my birthday's coming up, and I just want to get to my goal weight for my birthday. And at that time, I want to say it was about 8 pounds that I couldn't get, and it was like a week. Like I'm like, how am I gonna get this off me in a week? But I was optimistic, and Curtis was like, I got you. We got this. So I started drinking the cortisol cocktail, and then I started working out with Curtis. And when I tell you, like, I made it to my goal weight. I just couldn't even believe it. And I saw it. Not only did I make it to my goal weight on the scale, I think what was the most impressive was just how I looked in my clothes. Like I just really couldn't believe that it was that much of a difference in my clothes in just that short period of time. Call it inflammation, call it water weight, whatever it was, I was slimmer. And the scale showed it, and so did my clothes. And so that helped me. And then for the very first day, I literally could not walk for 4 days. Like I was waddling like a penguin. And what hurt? My glutes. I finally felt it in my glutes. And so sometimes I learned that, and I've said this to anybody who has asked me, or I've talked to them about working with Curtis specifically, is that sometimes you can do all the right things, but you just need the extra push and you need the extra guidance. And so it could literally be one small adjustment to your position. Like maybe I'm not squatting low enough. Maybe I'm not, so that has helped me be able to target areas where I want to focus on my body specifically, because we all have body goals. And so that has helped me target where I want to go specifically. I made my goal weight, and then I changed it. 10 more pounds.
And I think that's the thing. It's kind of like, I didn't know, when you're growing up, they tell you, the only thing I heard about, like as you transition in age was about the change. The change and hot flashes. I don't think I had ever heard anything about the word cortisol. I hadn't heard anything really. I didn't really understand the whole hormone thing. I didn't know how much that was impacting everything else. Another one of Curtis's clients was talking about, like, she didn't have any physical perimenopause symptoms, so she thought, till she started using the product, and then she realized, oh, it was cortisol. It was the cortisol. It was the hormone. She didn't even realize. She literally started deflating. It was like, that's the best way I can explain it. That's the best way to say it. Deflating.
Yes.
It was like before she looked, I guess your body can look inflamed.
Yeah.
Kind of like she started just like literally sucking in, and she lost like 5 pounds. And I would say it was the same thing for me. Mine was, I was towards the end of my weight loss journey, but I was having the bloatedness, it was like this thick tire. I cannot explain. It was like a thick tire, and when I ate, it didn't even feel like the food was digesting properly. And then I found out later that is a part of perimenopause too, the whole digestion, which when I started with the G3, which is the gut health product, that really helped like all of that to be regulated. So it's interesting, because especially being a believer, because I've talked to so many women who I know are strong women in God. They have go through these different challenges, like our moods, how we feel. And we 100% know that you have to pray. That's non-negotiable. But it's also this thing like, okay, these things are going on. I don't have anyone to talk to about it. Like nobody's talking, right? But the more that I started sharing these videos and just talking about it, what I found was that I wasn't alone. And that's the reason why I'm starting to talk more about it, because the enemy could literally have you sitting there thinking you crazy, or you just tripping out, or, like different things like that, like literally have you thinking that, when the reality of it is like, no, it's something going on new in your life. You need certain levels of support. And you need, and it's a natural thing, and other people are experiencing it too. And I think that's one of the things that I really want to communicate too, with this. This has become this. This just came out of left field. I was like fully in the middle of promoting a film, and then it was like couldn't focus and started using the products. And then like right around March, I just looked at Curtis. I was like, man, we got to share this, because it was too many people experiencing the same exact thing. And I felt like if I could help people with this, like, hey, you know, here's something that actually works. That's what I want to do. But I also, now I'm seeing it's much bigger than that. It's a conversation to help people understand, like, hey, here are some of the things that you can experience. Here are some of the solutions. Like, I knew that Curtis would tell me. Curtis is right there, y'all. Say wave to the people, Curtis. He right there. Y'all see fit for your journey?
Hello.
You gotta put your head in a little bit more.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me get
Okay.
ready.
Yes. Hey. So it's like Curtis would say, you know, you need to strength train. And I'm like, dude, I am trying to choose between being able to work and live and squat. I'm going to choose work and live. That was literally like, I felt like I had to make a choice. I didn't feel like I had the capacity for both. Yeah, I didn't
at all.
Yeah, and now this is our third month. I started in March. So March, April, this is my third month working out consecutively with Curtis. And I feel like, man, like all the strength, you know, coming back, that which is helping to mitigate, you know, things as well. I was just sharing with Kiera that I couldn't even bend down. Like I couldn't bend down like to get things because my joints were so inflamed. So that's something that's been regulated. You know, I also take the collagen, the Luke's collagen, which helps with the whole knees and all of your joints and your glowing skin. So all of that like really works. But what do you feel like if you could tell anybody, particularly, I always say, I'm trying to put people up on game. So the women that are coming right behind you, right? If you could say anything to them in terms of, particularly when it comes to them supporting themselves and them really like taking it, like being proactive about that now, like what would you say? How would you communicate that to them?
I would probably say that it's the most important thing is to seek help. Like we can't do it all by ourselves. There's a reason that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to sustain. So I would say talk about it, be vocal, ask questions. If I wasn't open, honest, and vocal with you, I wouldn't know, right? So you know, you wouldn't have shared with me. And so I think we just have to learn to seek help. We quite well. Maybe I'm saying we and it's me, but like I noticed that I like to do things on my own and be like, I got this. I can figure it out. I can watch another TikTok reel of a TikTok video or a reel on Instagram and figure out how to work out. I can do all these things, right? But I can't. So, and that's just the truth. I can't. And so one of my clients specifically said something to me recently, and she said that this year in 26, I invest in myself. And she was like, I've invested in everybody else. I've invested in my kids. I've invested in my parents. I've invested in my job. But this year I'm going to invest in myself. If I want to get, a personal trainer, I'm going to get a personal trainer. If I want to, I want to focus on my health, I'm going to spend that money on my health. The way I would have invested or have invested in other people, I'm going to invest in myself. And I think that we as women need to do more of that, right? And so not saying go out and splurge and buy the bag. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, go do the high end things, but the small things that make things matter now would be the best way to start, right? Because we put ourselves on the back burner all the time. So be open, honest, ask questions, talk about it. Tell people what you're experiencing. Go on live and say, hey, I'm experiencing, hot flashes in the middle of the night. And then when I take the covers off, I'm freezing because I'm covered in sweat. Anybody else experiencing this? And then take those things as equally as a priority as field day at school or, lunches for your child's school. Because we have to, without us prioritizing ourselves, they don't get their lunches made. They don't have their parents at field day. We're not able to be there.
Yeah. And I think I feel like, especially when you have a call on your life, like your first ministry is always, your family. Then you have people, I work with a lot of people who they have been called to do some really amazing things. And I feel like you have to fulfill those things that you've been called to do. And knowing that you're going to get some backlash, some opposition, especially when you're meant to impact people, and being able to be in a position that you can show up your best. Like I said, for me, I was at the biggest, one of the biggest times of my life when I realized that the activity I could normally do easily, I was editing that film, I could normally do that and it was therapeutic, and all of a sudden I literally was like squirrel, like focus, all over the place. Yeah. I'm like, if that was so frustrating to me, because that's something I love, and here I am with that. And I think that, I'm starting, I haven't like formally launched it, but I'm going to be launching, a whole, like, I'm calling it Seasoned Snatched, because you're seasoned enough, meaning that you're experienced, your expertise, the things that you're not a novice. Mm-hmm. You're not trying to figure things out. You know what you know, right? That's the season part. Also a season in your life. And then the snatch part is showing up, like showing up your very best, like deciding that you're going to show up your very best. And it's twofold. It's like, and snatching back everything that you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that this is a critical time. I've seen, really close people to me pass in the last year. And the one thing, one person in particular, when they passed, I was like, Dr. Beckford, he poured out every piece of his life, every fiber of his life, his gift. He poured it out. Like, I know he was empty, right? And I feel like, in this particular season of life, it's about like pouring out all of your gifts, you know what I'm saying, your talents and your abilities. And you got to be in your right mind. You got to be able to have the energy, and you have to be able to have the finances. Yeah. And you have to be able to have the faith to be able to sustain and do those things. And so that's another reason why, this came at the perfect timing, because me being able to have this experience allowed me to meet and connect with you, allowed you to meet and connect with other people. And now we're actually building something amazing together as business owners. I think that when you always hear people talk about being an influencer, right? And sometimes I think people get the word influencer. Some people look at being an influencer is something that's kind of like vain or vanity, right? And I look at it like, when you have a level of impact and trust with people, then you're blessed with the ability to be able to influence people, because you earn your trust, right? Throughout your, life of being seasoned. And so for me and Curtis, we have always been like very careful about the things that we stand for, we share with people, because we know we have a lot of influence with people. And the one thing I could say is that when I did start using these products, I was like, I would say 8 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10 people were either dealing with perimenopause, weight loss, focus, ADHD, or mental, some kind of way mentally they need to be able to have some type of clarity. It was 8 out of 10 people that were experiencing that, and particularly people that like were close friends, clients, etc. And that's when we made the decision that we would become, like with this company, we are actually influencers. What does that mean? It means that we actually use the product, and then when you see me sharing and talking about it, that's actually us actually referring, because we know how good the product is, and we're referring that to people, and it becomes another income stream. So talk about when you're building a business like we're entrepreneurs, where everything that we do, I like to say, you kill what you eat. Like everything that you eat, you got to kill first. Yeah. Meaning that you have to fund the supply, the inventory, the marketing, the branding. Sometimes for you have a freestanding salon. Like, talk about at how important it is to have cash flow when you are an entrepreneur.
It's so important that we, as an entrepreneur, you are everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're the, like you said, the CEO, the
Yes.
CMO, the COO. You know, you are everything. And so when it comes to that, and even if business is great, right? So business is great. Let's say your business takes your income over for your previous thing that you did, right? Let's say you were a teacher, and now you make what you made as a teacher, but what you have now is inventory. You have overhead, right? Like I like you said, I have a actual space. Like I have to pay my landlord. You have staff. I have staff, so you have to pay your staff. So like you may make what you made, but when you think about it, you make less because you're doing more. You're paying out more. You become a little bit, more accountable in other areas. Water, you got to pay water, internet, all of the things. You got double bills everywhere. At home and in your business. So you have to show up and find ways to kind of have some liquid cash flow at all times, just because you need it, right? You gotta, what I say to you the other day, rob Peter to pay Paul, right? You gotta make all the businesses work until you can kind of get where you need to be. But that's just kind of the nature of the beast especially when you're growing. My business has been open. It'll be 1 year in July. So as I'm still continuing to grow, this has been very helpful for me.
And I what happened for me, I really understood this recently when I was promoting my film Bobby's Kids, because the difference in it coming on in February versus it coming out later in the year was literally money. It wasn't because it needed to be completed. No, it was finished. It wasn't because it needed to be pitched harder. No, already accepted. Promos running. Like when I say it was all the way at the finish line, and it was literally a matter of some money that pushed it. And that was the one thing to me that was, a lot of times I think in your life, you have those disruptive moments. And God uses it. It's like you have those disruptive moments that is a wake up, because he's trying to get your attention actually in other ways as well. And so that disruptive moment for me made me say, wow, so you can get all the way, you can have something that's so phenomenal, right? You're the underdog. You have something that's so phenomenal. You get it all the way to the finish line, and something like some money, like you can get all the way to the big goal, and something like some money can stop it or push it. That was the decision I made. I said, okay, first of all, that will never happen again, ever, right? And I'm going to create other streams that will allow me to, be able to fund at a higher level without having to be in this type of position, because it's like God can give you these huge opportunities, but there are other things that go in play, and liquid cash is part of it. So I look at this opportunity with Brandi as an influencer. I call it my dream fund. I call it my vision fund. It's one of the funds that I'm using to have liquid cash to be able to do those types of projects. Like I knew my film was going to touch the world. I was trying to get it to the kids and get it in the school systems. It wasn't just about creating a film to be put on TV. Everybody watches it. Oh, that's great. That is good. But I had a mission attached to it. I wanted to be able to help the kids and do a pathway into college. So for me, this is a vision fund. So this being an influencer with Brandi, which Brandi allows you to be able to share these products with people, and literally you're already on your phone and your iPad. You're literally able to do a significant, whatever you want, whatever you choose to do. You can add that as an income source. So I use it as my vision fund. And I think a lot of people who have businesses where they have influence with people, and they have clients, and they have people that they share with, that this affects them, it's a natural fit for them, because they already know, like, wow, I know so many people who are dealing with this here. And that I would be more than happy to share that with. So to me, the whole influencer thing is taking on a whole different thing. It's like influence for impact, like, so Kiera is someone that is a part of our team. We call ourselves Team Triumph. I don't even know if you knew that, but I named it Team Triumph. So I named it off of Triumph. Okay. The Jackson 5, that iconic cover that they have, it was the Triumph album. And I just always thought like, oh, that's so powerful. So I was like Team Triumph, because we about to be victorious over here. So yeah, we're if you see the people that we're building, powerful powerhouse people. Like, she's a powerhouse. You can already tell about, the flyness. She's a business owner. She's a powerhouse. Her husband, Daryl, is a marketing like mastermind. And so people that are, really serious about, their business, their life, their family, their legacy, and care about people. Because to me, you got to care about people, to do anything that that you have to nurture them in any kind of way. And I think that what you do in terms of in the beauty industry, I saw your tagline on Instagram. You said, I help women wake up and feel, what did you say? You help them
confident. Yeah. Not just women, men. I got men that come to me too for brows, to get their brows tattooed. And they feel, the transformation they have in the mirror is just as awesome to watch as women. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's about like empowering people. Like empowering people to feel more confident. It's all about transformation. At the end of the day, I think that, how we show up, how we feel, the energy we have, and even with our finances, how we're able to spread money is so important. And so, that's another part of being seasoned and snatched. It's like, living out the call that you have on your life as well, and looking doggone good doing it too. How about that? So, aging backwards. So this has been so much fun. I guess I should look and see if there are any questions over here, guys, because we have just been talking. We have been watching, and there are people on here. Oh, hello. What's up, Brandi? Sugar. Hey. Hello, Marching 100, brother. I'm curious. These eyebrow tats, do they look like hair follicles? They're asking you.
That's a good question. So they don't necessarily look like hair follicles, because that would be more like a brow transplant, which is fairly new. It would mirror having powder in your brows. Like if you wake up every morning and you were to do your brows and fill it in with either brow makeup, powder makeup, or a brow pencil, it would mirror that. So it gives you a fuller, more defined look. Doesn't mean that you have to have no brow hairs. I got so many girls that come to me with nice full brows. They just lack definition. So they don't have any, it's just kind of like a square box of hair, right? So we create definition together. Or I've had breast cancer survivors, people who've had like systematic lupus and they've had chemo and they don't have any brow hairs. So whether you're there or on the other end of the spectrum and just need some definition in your brows, the tattoo brows basically just kind of mirror fuller defined brows as if you got your makeup done that morning, but every day.
Awesome. Okay. Wait a minute. Are there any other questions? Hey, my niece.
That's my Auntie Barbara. Hi, Auntie Barbara. I saw my cousin on here too.
Hello, Mr. Asaka. My favorite teacher. One of my favorite teachers.
Yep, that's my cousin.
Trisha.
Hey, Rudy.
Hey. So if you guys don't have any questions, so you might have a question. If you're on here and you're on here watching with Kiera, where can they reach out to you to learn to be able to find out more about the cortisol cocktail from you?
Well, for Facebook, I'm tagged, so you guys know how to find me because you're able to click the tag and just kind of reach out to me. For the people that are on here that are watching from my perspective, they have my number. You guys can reach out, but you can also send me a direct message. On Instagram, you can also look me up on, it's Kia's Corner, so Kia with the K dot Kias, so KIAS dot corner with a K, KORNER. And then you can also send me a message there as well.
Okay. And if you guys want to know, you're on here and you want to know more about the cortisol cocktail, you can just comment. You can comment snatched, or you can DM me. And I will get the information right to you. But again, we're going to be doing these weekly. Look for more. And I hope you learned something. I hope it was just enjoyable on a Sunday, after, like winding down, or maybe you're gearing up. I know I got the meal prep. Like,
so many chores left for the rest of the week. But thank goodness we have our cortisol cocktail
right.
to get us through it. Yeah. Cheers. That helps.
What did Mark used to go? See you guys later. Thank you guys for coming.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Bye.